Anyway, meet the man that's running against him and Jerry Brown. He's California gubernatorial candidate Neel Kashkari. He joins me now. So, what's harder, to be a Republican in California or to be a Republican in the face of TARP?
Well, first of all, I should have brought my card with me because you're bringing me flashbacks back to my time in Washington. It's great to see you. You know, I think what I want to do is help rebuild the Republican Party in California. I want to make the Republican Party the party of hard work, where we're bringing everyone, Latinos, African Americans, Asians, everyone into the Republican tent. If you want to work hard, then we're the party for you. So my plan is just focused on two things, jobs and education. California is ranked 47th in America in jobs, 46th in education, and #1 in poverty.
But let me ask you this with Jerry Brown. What's the fireable offense? You look back at his 4 years compared to, frankly, what was a mess of a budget process, both with Gray Davis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you look at it, I look at it from here, and I'm like, well, boy, he seemed to at least govern the state, a state that some people thought was ungovernable. What do you say to that?
I say that he is very good at presiding over the status quo. Unfortunately, the status quo is horrible for millions of Californians. You know, literally, 47th in jobs, 47th in education, #1 in poverty.
Do you think he's been a better governor, though, than Arnold and Gray?
I think that the time that he's presided over with the national economy rebounding from the depths of the Great Recession has certainly helped. You know, he's running, his message is California comeback. When I travel around the state and I meet with families, they look across the table at each other and they say, what is this man talking about? He's saying he has 30 to 40 years of experience. You know, in 1980, California was ranked 11 out of 50 states for most educated workforce. We're 48th today. We were 25th for jobs, 47th today, 25th for poverty, #1 today. Over the last 30 years, California's middle class has been destroyed, and Governor Brown is not even acknowledging it.
So you want to rebuild the California Republican Party. Nothing has destroyed the California Republican Party more than Prop 187 and how Pete Wilson won, basically by any means necessary in 1994. So where are you in immigration reform?
I'm the son of immigrants. My parents came here from India 50 years ago. I think that immigrants are adding huge value to our country.
So do you support this Gang of Eight plan? Do you think it's like, just get something through and get it passed?
Look, I think that we need to come up with a national solution. I think that some element of either path to citizenship or path to green card makes a lot of sense. We have to value and recognize what people are contributing to our society. Yes, we need to update our laws. Yes, we need to enforce the laws. But there's a reasonable solution here that I think we can all get behind. And as I travel around the state and I meet with Latino families and I meet with African American families, you know what they want? They want a fair chance to work hard.
But the R next to your name, the national party's brand, how much does that hurt you in California?
Look, it's a big issue, and that's why I want to go to not just the national brand, the California brand. As I go into the poorest communities of California, things that have amazed me, people couldn't care less that I'm a Republican because I'm there. Jerry Brown isn't going into homeless shelters and food banks. He's saying we're back, we're on top of the world. And his self-congratulation is ringing hollow for most families in California.
So it's amazing. You've gotten a ton of nice clips. I read, everybody says a lot of nice things about you. Some of the grand poobahs in politics, though, all say the same thing. If only he were running for a spot he could win. Why isn't he running for comptroller? Why is he immediately jumping in? Why is Kashkari immediately jumping in and running a quixotic race for governor?
Well, I want to make big changes in the state. Right? This is not a career for me. I've had a career.
But you could rebuild the Republican Party if you actually won comptroller.
Well, but see, here's the thing. I don't think that I could win controller or treasurer if we don't have the right candidate at the top of the ticket. We need a candidate at the top of the ticket who can bring everyone back into the Republican fold, say the Republican Party is a big tent. We want you to succeed. I think I can do that as a candidate for governor, and it also gives me a path to win and a path to really change the state. I don't think I can do that by myself running for a lower office.
$700 billion man, which some will argue is still not enough big enough bank account to have in California to run a political campaign out there. Anyway, Neel Kashkari, stay safe in the campaign trail. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my dear friends, dear folks. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow on East West Show with G&E TV. Once again, we're talking about election. Once again, we're talking about exercising your right of democracy. Once again, we're talking about this is the moment that for California, for a big change. Big change meaning that we deserve a better governor or a new governor for better. Put it that way, though. Joining me is the candidate for California governor, Mr. Neel Kashkari. Welcome. Mr. Governor, to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I really appreciate it.
Let me advance it. Okay, good. You know, Mr. Kashkari, at the time of election, when we do this kind of a show, though, I call it promotion for democracy. We always ask questions like who you are, what have you done, and what will you do? Those three categories.
Sure.
Right. So what I know you're in a hurry to go to your next event, though. I'll do it in a very compact way.
Sure.
So who are you part? Right? Can we please, with your introduction, please?
Sure. So I was born here in America. My parents came here from India, immigrants, about 50 years ago. I was a normal middle-class kid, middle-class household. I grew up working odd jobs.
I see.
My parents focused on education. I got a good education, and that's opened every door of our country for me.
Yes.
So I became an aerospace engineer. And that's what brought me to Los Angeles. I joined TRW in Redondo Beach.
All right. And the first thing indicates that you have the set of brain. you have to have that.
Yeah, you have to have some analytical
kind of
skills.
Yes. And
I worked as an aerospace engineer, and then I went back into business school. I got my master's degree in MBA from Wharton School, and then I joined banking, and I worked in finance in Silicon Valley.
I see.
Helping small businesses raise money so they could expand. And then I went to Washington, D.C., and I worked for both President Bush and President Obama for about 3 years.
I see.
Tackling the terrible economic crisis. Then I came back to California, returned to the private sector, and now I'm running for governor of California.
All right. Sounds easy, but well, that indicates rich experiences to me.
Yes.
Right, going back and forth in the between politics and the economy and the science field.
Correct.
Right, you're one in all. you're a jack of all trades. Right. Okay. Now, so to the background part though, what the most part that you feel proud of yourself?
You know, when I was in Washington, D.C. for 3 years, we tackled the terrible economic crisis in 2007, 2008, 2009. And we got Republicans and Democrats to work together. So I said President Bush and President Obama.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
We got them to work together on behalf of the American people. And if we could do that in Washington, then I know we can do that in Sacramento.
Wow, that sounds a beautiful philosophy. And nowadays, you know, our problem, Mr. Governor, let me answer it, please, is that we take everything with a partisan line.
Yes.
Everything is partisan. So that is the problem, right? The fact that you can work for both presidents, you can put people of left and right together to tackle the problem we have, which is the worst one of the last century, 100 years already. So that really indicates something, right? So now, to fast forward a little bit, what have you done actually? Any certain issues that with your involvement that shows a different result?
Well, here's the thing. The two issues that I'm focused on are very personal for me. I want to fix the schools in California. Our schools are ranked 46th out of 50 states.
All right.
So millions of California kids are not getting the good education that I got.
Exactly.
I want to fix the schools so they get the good education, and I want to bring jobs back to California and keep jobs in California so people can work hard. These have been the keys to my success. I want that to be available for everyone else. And these issues are not partisan.
Of course
right?
not. Of course not. Of course
Democrats love their kids too.
Yeah, of course,
Independents love their kids too, as do Republicans. They cut across party lines. I think we can unite people on these ideas and lift everyone up.
All right, very good, very good. Sure enough, to my audiences, today we're interviewing our candidate of California governor, Mr. Neel Kashkari. He's got a huge background of education, and he's got involvement in the aerospace industry and also involvement with the economy to tackle the economy problem by working with President George Bush and also Barack Obama. So that really indicates this person has a kind of a special skills that can go cross party lines or omit the party lines, right? Which is exactly right. What do you think being the biggest problem of California?
Well, there are two, and they're closely related. It is jobs and education. You know, our business climate is 50th out of 50 states. So big businesses, small businesses, they're all struggling. They want to compete. They want to hire more people. But the government is making it so difficult with all of our rules and regulations.
Sure.
So many businesses leave. And when a business leaves, good jobs go with them. And then the workers are the ones who are ultimately hurt by that.
Sure.
And then related to that, the schools that are failing, millions of kids don't have a fair chance.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as I go into communities, Asian communities, African American communities, Latino communities, they all want the same thing. They want their kids to get a good education.
Sure, exactly.
And that is the key to opening the doors of opportunity.
And I should say thank you very much for addressing these two issues, which are interrelated, right?
Yes.
And one as a reason, the other as a result.
That's right.
Okay. Now, to my audience today, the interview is very important. We're seeing the future of California if we can get a new governor for the job. So, speaking of election, you always talk about picking the right person for the right job. Let's see one more time. We want to prove that we are the ones that picking up the right one for the right job. So, stay with us. We'll be right back.